All right, let's get right into it. For the last year or so, you just can't escape the conversation around artificial intelligence. And nowhere is that conversation more intense than in education. So, what's the deal? Is AI going to be the end of learning as we know it, or could it be the start of something amazing? Today, we're going to break it all down.
And let's be real, this is where everybody's mind goes first, right? This is the big, scary headline that AI is just this super advanced cheating machine, that students will just use it to do their homework and they're not actually going to learn a thing. It's a totally valid fear, and it's the one we have to tackle head on.
So this really sets up the two sides of the coin. On one hand, you have the fear, the cheating, the idea that critical thinking just goes out the window. But on the other hand, you have this incredibly bold promise that AI could be the biggest, most positive change that education has ever seen. Now, to really understand that promise, we actually have to rewind the clock a bit.
To really get why people are so excited, we need to talk about this huge idea from way back in 1984. This is long before anyone was even dreaming about things like ChatGPT. It's something called the Two Sigma problem.
Okay, so this researcher, Benjamin Bloom, he does this study and finds something incredible. He discovered that an average student, right in the middle of the pack, if you give them one-on-one, personalized tutoring, they suddenly perform better than 98% of the other students. I mean, that's not just a small bump. It's a massive, massive leap.
And the fancy term for this is a 2 sigma improvement. That little symbol, sigma, is just what statisticians use for standard deviation. It's a way to measure how spread out results are. And trust me, a 2 sigma jump is a huge deal.
But let's just forget the stats for a second. What this really means is that with the right kind of personal attention, you can take a C student and turn them into an A+ student. The problem, of course, was how could you possibly do that for everyone? A personal, human tutor for every single student? It was just impossible, financially, logistically. Well, it was impossible until now.
And this, right here, is where AI comes into the picture. The big vision, the grand idea, is to finally solve that decades-old 2 sigma problem. The goal is to put a smart, personalized AI tutor in the pocket of every single student on Earth.
What's so cool is how these things are being built. They're not just answer machines. If a student says, hey, just give me the answer, the AI, like Khan Academy's tool, Khanmigo, it actually pushes back. It says, nope, let's work through this. It uses what's called the Socratic method. It asks you questions. It probes your thinking. It guides you. Just like a really good human tutor would. And its skills go way beyond just checking your math homework. An AI tutor can see exactly where you went wrong in a long equation. It can help you debug computer code, sometimes faster than a person could. It can even answer that classic question, why do I even need to learn this? By connecting it to your interests. Maybe you want to be a pro athlete or a game designer. It'll tailor the answer to you. It can even act as a debate partner to help you sharpen your arguments.
Now, this is where things get genuinely wild. Imagine you're reading The Great Gatsby for English class, and you're kind of confused about the whole green light thing. Instead of just Googling it, you can literally have a conversation with Jay Gatsby himself and ask him what it means. I mean, come on, this makes learning come alive in a way that felt like pure science fiction just a few years ago.
And look, this isn't just some niche idea for high school English. As you can see from all this research, people are exploring how to use generative AI all across the board, from elementary school to highly specialized fields like medicine, nursing, and computer science. The potential is just enormous.
But hold on, because this big transformation isn't just about the students. For any of this to actually work, it has to empower our teachers too. That's the other half of the puzzle, giving every single teacher an AI assistant to help them with the insane amount of work they have on their plates.
Just think about a teacher's day. They can use AI to quickly brush up on a topic, brainstorm a fun way to start a lesson on Shakespeare, create custom quiz questions, or even get help drafting progress reports and grading guides. The point isn't to replace teachers, not at all. It's about liberating them. It frees them from hours and hours of tedious paperwork so they can focus on what they do best, actually connecting with and inspiring their students.
So the vision is powerful. It's exciting. But we have to take a breath and be realistic here. This kind of technology brings some major challenges with it, and we have to think really, really carefully about how to build the right ethical guardrails.
To get this right, we have to navigate at least 3 massive hurdles. First, privacy. These systems handle a ton of sensitive student data, and that has to be locked down tight. Second, the digital divide. If only rich schools can afford these amazing tools, we're just going to make inequality worse, not better. And third, bias. We have to make sure the AI is fair and doesn't accidentally reinforce biases against some groups of students. This is really the fundamental question we all have to answer. It's not enough for the tech to be cool or powerful. It absolutely has to be built from day one to be fair, for us to understand how it works, and for it to be accessible to every single learner, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Which brings us to the final choice. You know, the future of AI in education isn't some movie that we're just going to sit back and watch. It's something we are all building right now with every decision we make.
Sal Khan makes this really powerful point that just being scared could actually be a self-fulfilling prophecy. If all the well-meaning people hit the pause button, you can bet the bad actors, the criminal groups, the authoritarian governments, they're not going to stop. They'll keep going, and that could lead to a really dark future. The other path is to be proactive, to fight like hell to build these positive tools, while at the same time putting those smart, reasonable guardrails in place.
And this quote it perfectly captures the whole optimistic vision. Maybe the most beautiful and poetic purpose of artificial intelligence, AI, isn't to replace us, but to be used to enhance HI, human intelligence.
So that's where we are. The question is left to all of us. This technology is here, and it is moving unbelievably fast. The future isn't decided yet. The path we go down, whether it's a threat or a transformation, will be determined by the choices we all make, starting right now. How are we going to choose to use it?